Welcome to another episode of the Gaming Kitchen. This will be the other spiritual successor, the last of the last of the last time I'm going to comment on the predatory nature of these games and the industry as a whole. Because much like I said before, unless something else comes out about this, I'm just repeating everything. Um, that and it's summertime and the living's easy and rain is starting to fall outside. So things are starting to get good and warm up. It's time to touch some grass. So before I send off this, which used to be a trilogy, now it's a anthology of the coping of the EAfication of MLB The Show, I wanted to quote a couple of YouTube videos I found last night. When I was done with the other video, I got to look at another YouTuber who's a part of the card counting, card collecting, 200K, 300K, 100K, 400, 500K genre, and see like what their take was. And this was by far one of the most honest, other than Gnomes and Legends take I've seen on this whole thing. So being that this is the last one, I want to go all out on this. And I just want to say, as a whole, that this isn't negativity. This is realism. This is having accountability. And when you have the backbone to have a bullshit detector, this is what content you're going to make. When you're like Legendary Drops, okay, whom, again, I'm going to say, I love his videos, I love his stuff, because the dude's honest and tells it like it is from his point of view. When you have people in that sect, in this ecosystem here, that holds things accountable, makes things accountable, there's no room for people to post memes because they want the good times to come back like they do in Discords and everything, and put up mocking gifs and everything. Some of us do act like adults, okay? You have to start addressing these issues. These issues are important. These issues determine where you are playing your game, where you are shopping, where you are living. This is not just limited to games. This is to every aspect in the world. You must hold people who are in positions accountable when they need to be held accountable. When you don't, things fall apart. Now, for this section or channel, we're talking about games here. Not just any games, the gaming world and the direction that it's heading in. And also the honesty of what you see in front of you. If it smells like crap, and it is crap, then it's crap. Say it's crap. Stop coping. Stop defending. Stop trusting. You have no reason to do both when the stuff you've been given in return tells you everything you need to not do, which is stand by these companies and stand by these games and stuff. And what I've seen in the card collecting community, because that's the biggest one in all of MLB The Show, is a lot of creators who will sit up here and will tiptoe that line of calling them out, but then in the back of their brain, as the gears are turning, I don't want to go too full court because I know MLB The Show 26 comes out and I might get a free t-shirt and I might get a baseball and I might get that. And that's fine. You can do that. You can do that. By all means, go ahead. But understand something. There is a pattern here where in the last 2 to 3, 4 years of this game and such, when it comes June, when it comes July, when it comes August, this game falls off. Because the people don't understand that your biggest cash cow are the people who are here, as you see on this screen, double PXP, fourth inning double XP, May Lightning, cards, beaches, surfing, all this type of crap. All this stuff, all their content, everything they're putting towards in this game is about multiplayer programs. This is what I say when I said Diamond Dynasty is made for Stadium Creator, and Stadium Creator was made for Diamond Dynasty. And again, it's another feature that's basically left to the wayside and is glitched and is never fixed and takes time to work on and takes time to look at and all those types of things. That's why it's important to call this stuff out. It's not about being negative. I don't want anybody fired. I don't want anybody to lose their job. I don't want anybody to lose their livelihood in all of this. But there needs to be a certain type of bullshit detector that you must have as a content creator to hold these people accountable. That when you have a video game that is released on March 18th and it's now June 6th or June 7th and you still haven't had anything addressed, that remains a problem. And that's a problem that needs to be taken care of. And it needs to be investigated as in why are they so comfortable in releasing something like this? Why are they so comfortable allowing players to play a game like this? Now, if you are a Diamond Dynasty person, if you're a card head or a card collector, as I call them, then most of those issues don't matter to you. You've probably had a pretty good 2.5 months with this stuff. And then all of a sudden, their lazy tactics, their scheming tactics, their predatory tactics, in which most people are in denial of in this community or in their community, will then catch on, see what's going on, follow their favorite YouTuber, have some of their YouTubers toe the line and kick the can down the road and be very opaque when it comes to their opinions and the truth, just so that they can just keep skimming by and go from 10K to 20K to 200K, all those types of followers. They want those people following them. But then you start getting some truth coming out from some places, which I hold with a grain of salt, because a lot of these people will post videos talking about how MLB The Show's dead, MLB The Show's over, this is terrible. And then the next day they come out with videos about cards in which they had the money to make purchases for, and then do another video, which, by the way, I still say you guys are still a part of the problem. You guys are honest. I love your videos, especially when you hold this company accountable, but you're still a part of the problem. Because on one hand, you say, this is garbage, this is a trash system, you're killing your game, but then on the other hand, you're contributing to it. So there's that. So I want to get into this real quick. I'm going to end this. I have an ending thought. First quote I have is coming from Legendary Drop. Legendary Drop, excuse me. In a special section of They Are Cooked.
Other places than gaming. But it's just not how this beast is built. It's just not how it works. It's the psychology of the whole thing. It's how people interact with these products. We don't even think of them as products. We think of them as games. We think of them as experiences. We think of them as worlds that we're visiting, as memories that we are having, as memories that we are sharing, ones that we plan on returning to or may return to in the future or whatever it might be. And we play these games. We don't consume them. And that's a completely different interaction than you see in a lot of other industries. And I think that they've lost touch with that. And I think that's more evident by the day, to be honest with you. They left the players behind. They've been making worse games. They've been trying to monetize them even further. And even if they can make a good game, it's likely too expensive for us to buy, or it's too expensive for them to make. I mean, look at how high these guys have risen the stakes for themselves. Grand Theft Auto 6 is estimated to be $2 billion in development costs. That is insane. You cannot keep up with that. You can't even compete with that. Effectively, to just make what the AAA industry is supposed to be making in the first place. They have to sell like 30 plus million copies to be able to break even after fees and things like that on other platforms. They can pull that off, but the vast majority of the industry doesn't stand a chance. Are you kidding me? But these are the costs that continue to rise. They keep doing this to themselves. They keep scaling up and scaling out, and they use subscription services and microtransactions to be able to offset that growth and show that perpetual record-breaking growth that they need to show to their shareholders, because most of these CEOs are paid in stock options to begin with that never take pay cuts, by the way, regardless of how many people they lay off or how bad their business does. Notice most of these gaming CEOs never lose their job. Sydney got on.
There you go. This is what I talk about when I talk about the ecosystem. When I talk about an ecosystem here, I want people to understand this. Walk away from this with this. No matter what situation you have in your life, no matter what person you're dating or friends you have, or why you go to the bar every Friday, or why you like to stay in every Friday, or why you like to deal with friends that don't drink, why you like to have friends that used to drink or do drink and don't do so anymore. There's a rhyme and a reason and a why to everything. But more importantly, there's an ecosystem of everything that's happening. And what that ecosystem is what is sustainable in the ecosystem that you're in. Because there has to be a circle of life in every ecosystem. Meaning, what do you survive off? What do the people around you are surviving off of? What are the characteristics that comes out of that world? So as you heard that quote right there, this is why MLB The Show has become, is, and is now a part of that conversation of microtransactions, in-game purchases, greed, hustle, deception, manipulation, looking at you as a product, looking at you as a consumer when you were a gamer. And eventually, that environment breeds of greed. It breeds of novice. It breeds of greed. It breeds of an environment that is not going to last long because it is an ecosystem where one devours the other, who devours the other, who devours the other, and so on and so forth. And that's how you get to where you are, to where you have cards that are crappy, that are given to you for free, while the person next to you is playing it because they have the money. They have it, you want it. They get more of it, you want more of what they have. And so it's inevitable that you fall prey to the same system that the other people have no problem falling prey to. Therefore, they contribute back into the monster. The monster eats it up and will never get full to prey on you. All this stuff right here wasn't the way it used to be. Now, a lot of people will look at this video and be like, what the hell does this have to do with building ballparks? Build ballparks. Just it's like the just dribble crap. First of all, ballparks would be built if you had gaming companies that actually cared about their product. They don't care about their product here. Again, check your ecosystem. This is about greed. Since when did people who were greedy ever cared about watering a garden? Does it give them a profit? No. Move it to the side. I keep like playing this broken record. This is a game that has been broken for 2.5 months now. My videos went from a few days, a few weeks, to now almost a few months. That's where this is at. Why is it that way? Why is it acceptable to be that way? And then you start looking and you start going into the game and you start saying to yourself and seeing, oh, wow, everything is so card centric now. Everything either revolves around Diamond Dynasty and all their little modes that they made for it, or it solely is so blatantly obvious that they make it that way. Wow, I wonder why they're doing it. It's almost as if they're trying to create an audience that's actually going to fund money back into them. That's where it's at now. And it's so blatantly obvious now that this is the beginning of the end for quality in your games. And that's why there has to be people who hold this stuff accountable. That's why I say stop saying it's not as bad as Madden. It's worse. Stop defending it. Stop trusting it. Stop. To the content creators, and I'll say this before I go into this video, to the content creators who are now starting to call this game out and call out SDS, thank you. We've only been doing it since March. I've only been doing it for about maybe 2, 3, 4 years now. Okay? And the only reason why I'm doing it is because this right here was a mode I didn't hate before. But I despise the mode now because this mode has now become a conduit of greed, slowly sucking the life force out of a game that is to be enjoyed and played by everyone. And it is now made by more desperate people who wear three-piece suits who, as the quote said, never take a pay cut, never have to worry about getting fired. They throw all these other people to the front of the line of the war that they know will get killed fast. That's what they do. So again, check your ecosystem, folks. That's the last thing I have to say about this video. Check your ecosystem. So now I'm going to go to another YouTuber right here who actually hit the point a lot better than Gnomes the Legend. Because, you know, no offense to Gnomes the Legend, but although I liked his stuff, he kind of beat around the bush a little bit. It was like more so, well, the modes suck, but they're still kind of good, right? It's like, you know, no, like, you know it's not good. You know these cards are trash. Just tell the truth and tell it like it is. But I gotta applaud him. You know, he does stand up for what he knows is not a good deal. But, you know, anywho, so this is a guy in which I found last night. He came across my news feed. Sheffley or Shelfie. It's called The Rise and Fall of MLB The Show, and I just want to pinpoint to where he actually gets real, much like I did yesterday. And I want to throw my 2 cents on this, so stand by.
Exists for me to actually unlock and play them, which is why people want to play the game. That's the expectation people have when content comes out. Instead, these cards are just fake. They just exist for the sake of finishing these collections. I hate being the guy that complains. I really do. I hate editing these videos. I just know I'm sitting there editing this thinking, oh, it's so cringe. I hate complaining. People are going to be mad at me for complaining, blah, 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 blah. But I got to say my piece.
I just want to comment on that one part right there that he says that he hates complaining and such. This isn't complaining. Okay? This isn't complaining. You can make 15 videos about what's wrong with this company, and it's perfectly fine. Now, if you're going to lose followers because of that, then ultimately you know what you were contributing in, and you know what those types of people were when they were there. They were sheep who don't like thinking at all for their own benefit or yours. But it's not complaining. It's not cringe. What is cringe, however, is not holding a company accountable when they are preying on, not you, because you know what you're doing, but when they're preying on the people who listen to you and the people who follow you, because you have a responsibility to those people. That's it. Or else you're just leading from the back, which, in that case, you're just full of shit.
I hate complaining. People are going to be mad at me for complaining, blah, 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 blah. But I got to say my piece. People expect me to say my piece. I got to say, keep it real. I got to say I got to say it, call it for what it is. A spade is a spade. 90% of these cards are garbage, unusable, and intentionally so. They know that. It's all about buying them to get this Seager.
Thank you. See, that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted Gnomes the Legend to admit yesterday. That's why I said he was halfway there. It's like you can, if you go and watch the video, go and watch this video and watch his facial expressions and watch how he is trying so hard to hold back what he really wants to say while still trying to be positive about something that you're not positive about. Again, speak from your spirit, speak from your heart, not your wallet. Stop defending them, stop trusting them. That's where that stems from. That's the ecosystem that you're in. You're trying to protect yourself while not protecting yourself, while holding them accountable, while not wanting to come across holding them accountable. Same thing this guy did. Oh, I know people don't want me to complain. To hell with them. You have 203 subscribers, my dude, and you'll probably have more. Don't worry. You'll get back more who leave than what will stay. It's perfectly fine. Tell the truth. That's what's more important. And this boy's laying it on pretty thick right here. I'll be honest with you.
And by the time you get them, it's just days or weeks of homework style grinding. And by the time you get them, it's not even fun anymore. And then you're on to the next rat race because you do this every week. This style of content, it's not fun. Most importantly,
not only is it not fun, but it's kind of predatory. Because again, much like I said before, there's a difference between you being a gamer and you being a consumer. But on a different level, there's a difference between you being a customer and being a means to an end. That's where it gets to be predatory because they know what they're doing. That's why I say, are they better than EA? No, they're worse. Because this is a Trojan horse. You know those cards are garbage the minute you release them. The minute you guys sit up there and do those stupid little, like, streams you guys do that don't talk about anything for a whole hour, the minute you guys do that, you already know what type of people you care about in this game. The types of people you want to come through your game on a game, which, by the way, is not working. Same creator is only 70% workable. That's it. And it's June. What are your people doing? What are your programmers doing? Like, forget the fact that, like, this is a stadium creator talking. Like, let's look at the product as a whole. This is a lemon. This thing does not work in certain parts. What are you doing to fix it? You can make a stream talking to people about baseball cards and PXP, whatever that means, and XP and May Lightning and all this stupid stuff that is just doesn't make any sense whatsoever in a baseball game that's supposed to be simulation. What are you doing to fix your product? Your product is not working. What are you doing? All they care about is the almighty dollar. So, again, much like I said before, like, how do you expect this stuff to be quality and good and then to move with a different direction and a different ecosystem of bringing customers to their game when this is the same group of people who sat up here and said, well, we're not going to talk about what's not included in the game. We're going to talk about the stuff that is in the game. And you know what is in the game? Nothing but cards, nothing but greed, nothing but a means to an end. That's it. But all the while, this fails all the way up to the top because that's what you do in the entertainment industry and all this stuff. And then most of this stuff behind the scenes, people fail upwards. The higher you go up, the more people are inadequate of their jobs, the more people have no clue about what they're doing or where they are, until ultimately you get up to the top where the person who's making all these decisions and carrying themselves out in a certain way will never get impacted by it. Everybody underneath this person is expendable. Everybody underneath this person is a pawn. Even you, the gamer.
this style of content, it's not fun. The most important word, fun. I do not have content burnout. I still play my Pokemon Yellow from 1999. If I'm
Pretty
bored,
base.
I turn it off. If I'm not bored, I keep playing it. This game isn't fun when the content is lined up like this. Period. It is going to take me forever to get this card. That kills my excitement. You are intentionally trying to suck the money out of my wallet by putting all of these fake collection fillers in the game that I have to scrum up. Not fun. The entire time I'm scrumming up those stubs, I know what you're doing. It makes it less fun. I feel like a prisoner, not a consumer. I'm certainly not enjoying myself. You are killing your game. You're killing your game. I'm not going to sit here and act like I know the ins and outs, the details, or what their in-app purchases look like. Obviously, they are chasing in-app purchases with this style of content. And if they're making enough money off of the amount of people that just dump their wallets into this content to get Corey Seager right away and to finish these collections, GG's, man. Good for you guys. That's awesome. But it's hard for me to see this style of content and not think that they're also constantly losing people.
The only people they're losing in all of this are people who know they're being used. That's why most people don't like to work in sales or deal with people who knock on door to door type of sales, because they know what they're there for. You get a slimy feeling from people like that. In fact, most people who work in sales and business to business, as they used to call it back in the day, B2B, which used to be a whole flock ton of spam and scammers and everything. But those people used to lie about their background when they were talking to customers. I used to be a part of it. I used to work in sales. I couldn't do it. I have a soul. Sorry, I have morals and honor. I may not be perfect, but I'm not that. And so that's why people walk away from this. Because eventually at some point, why give money to something that doesn't respect you? I give a little thing right here. I told a lot of people, I told Arch, and I told a lot of people here who come through here that this may be the last time I play this show this year. I'm not buying this thing next year. I have no doubt whatsoever that this is a product made by a company of people who have lost their way. They've lost their honor. They've lost their morals. They've lost their moral compass. They've lost their direction. They've lost everything that gave them a soul to make this game every single year. I can't give money to a company that does that. If it shows up used in a bin, GameStop will get that money. eBay will get that money. I'd rather do it like that than to give SDS any more of my dollars. Because this year showed me above any other year the disrespect and the disregard that was used on people's hard-paying money. People who wanted to build ballparks, they can't build ballparks. I got a bunch of people I know who quit this year in regards to building ballparks because it took the spirit out of them. It took the motivation out of them. I was going to roll back in like March. I was going to roll right into MLB The Show and start creating everything I needed to do. Where's the responses from these people? Where's the apologies from these people? Where's the respect? Where's the community? Where's the love? Where's the, like, this is what I'm saying. These people do not respect you. They don't. This game's been out for 2.5 months. They know what's wrong with this game. They have Facebook, they have YouTube, they have Twitter, they have Twitch, they have YouTube. I said it before, say it again. They have that, they have whatever. They have smoke signals, they have Foxum, they have airplanes, whatever they got. They have not said one time, I'm sorry for releasing this game as bad as it is. This is a game that has been out for 2.5 months and has been given 14 patches and counting to make this game somewhat decent enough for you to actually go out and play it. And do they ever admit that? Nope. What do? They tell you to buy it. It's getting around June. It's getting late in the game. Baseball's starting to kick up. You're already lowering your price to $49.99. Then you're going to be begging more customers to come in here and buy your game. You're killing your game. This guy is honestly probably one of the most honest people in this card community that I've heard. Gnome's a Legend comes in second. All the rest of them, their mum's the word. They'll make one video about how, the card system needs to do this, and then they'll do the generic do better, and then move on. But see, you're contributing to the problem. You need to keep calling them out. And then ultimately, if you have any ounce of morality left within you, you're going to stop participating in the system that creates the problem that you're making a video about, complaining about it. Because if you're still competing and still placing your interest in it, guess what? You're not in traffic, my guy. You are traffic.
Losing people every time these content drops come out. Less people playing the game, the less money you're going to make overall. I feel like they need to find a happy medium, and doing one good content drop like the Moonshot program and then doing this, or you're just making a ton of money and we have to deal with it as the everyday grinder of the game. 90% of the cards are not meant to be played with. They're just collection fillers.
So there you go. Peep game. Look through it, see what it's about, move on, keep it going. So, as usual, that was, what's his name? I'm going to take a look again and see what he posted here, because I'm going to wrap up here. Shelfie. I like this video. So I go to his page, and yet I see another video of Unreal debut to kick off Legends. So, you know, a couple of videos about pack cards, Outlier, which is a Rise and Fall MLB The Show, and then that. So there you go. This is on brand for a lot of your card heads. They every once in a while, every month or so, they'll put a complaint video out about SDS, and then like the next 10 videos is about Corey Sager, get Screwball for this and that, and it's the generic hyped face thing and all that type of stuff. All in all, I'm gonna say it about this. These videos, this one I have found to be probably the most honest about what the game is and what they're doing, other than the videos I post. But much like I said before, and I'm gonna say it again, I know you guys, and I'm talking to the card heads right now, I know you guys are making your money off this stuff, and that's perfectly fine. You got to do what you got to do. I'm in no position to tell you what to do in regards to getting followers and stuff, because I've been stuck at 500 something for like 8 years. And if it gets higher, whatever. I don't know. I don't care. I was here on YouTube before the, what was that monetization thing, the adpocalypse, where I was making like maybe $1 or something off my videos. I could at least get a slice of pizza or whatever. And I got taken off of it a while back. And I'm not chasing the horse. I'm not the horse chasing the carrot anymore. I could care less. But this is all I have to say on this topic with this. If you guys, like Gnome's the Legend and all of y'all, sit up here and you acknowledge that SDS is running this type of scheme on people, and you know it, please say something about it and keep saying something about it. One video's nice, but you guys will just go right back to the next video again and talk about the legends and the cards and stuff to keep your followers. I know the game. I know what it's about, whatever. But like I said before, there's only so long that you can stay in the environment that you're complaining about until you either A, are part of the environment already, or B, you're talking about joining it. Now, a lot of the excuses that they'll say is, yeah, I'm not talking about me. Yeah, obviously I'm a content creator and I do this for this, but I'm talking about the average gamer. My friend, you are the average gamer as well. You're not in traffic. You are traffic. You're contributing to the problem. Now, if you're okay with that, that's fine. But understand that you are complaining about contributing to the system in which you say are problematic. If you have stubs and you are buying cards and you call yourself a content creator, you are telling SDS it's okay that this is happening. And SDS is going to take your money and they're going to distribute it amongst all the people over there as they're in the soup and bread line at SDS. And they're going to continue doing it. And Daddy Warbucks, who's the CEO all the way up to Sony, is going to take his lunch breaks there for 2 hours so he can get a nice swim in all them gold coins like Scrooge McDuck does. Okay? That's where this is going. My final take on this subject. This is my last video talking about this stuff. I try to be as definitive as possible with this, but I don't feel the need to beat this dead horse anymore. This is a subject and a topic I touched 10 years ago, and 10 years later, it is still around and it's still kicking, and it's only going to get worse before it gets better. The lessons here are the following. These companies cannot get out their own way. You've heard it from two people, not just me, two people on this quote thing. These companies cannot get out their own way. They want to make more money, and they want to make more money the wrong way. And the right way to do it is you do right by your customers. You do right by your community. You support your community. You support the people who support you. Because when you don't, what happens is eventually those people are going to leave. People like me. I'm not going to buy an early version of next year's game. To hell with this. To hell with this mentality. This whole I'm going to greed. I'm going to sell you a game that doesn't work. It's going to be broken. You get patched when you get patched, and you'll just sit up here and deal with it. And if not, then, well, see you later. I got my people. I got my YouTubers that will spend $500 for stubs on day one. I got my YouTubers that I'm going to fly out and make sure I don't give them enough time so that they can play only the modes that I know that I'm going to create that makes this stuff popular. I'm going to sit up there and give a copy to IGN and have IGN sit up here and give this game a 10. To which makes me ponder, and I've said this in other videos and I'll say it here too. I don't know what game they gave y'all, IGN. I'm talking straight to you. I don't know what game they gave you guys, but the game we got was the one that needed a whole lot of help. But when the dust settles and when the reviews are up there and it's 2-3 months down the line and it's June, you're in the heat of summer, you're in the dead of summer, you have the all-star break going, and you got people not playing your game for the third time in how many years? And you guys don't have a come to Jesus moment. You guys don't listen. I hear all the time, everybody talks about this community, say, oh, SDS is the best community ever. They listen to people, they listen to stuff. Oh, really? They listen? On what? What do they listen to? The only thing I've had to do, which, by the way, had to create my own thread in that show group, the official show forum, just to get a response back about the stadium creator. It wasn't even a good response. It was a generic response from one of their mods and the people who work on the website. You ain't hear nothing from Ramon. You ain't hear nothing from these people. These people come out here with these stupid little streams that they come up with for an hour, talking about baseball cards. And they're not even baseball cards you could collect and make money off. All this stuff is digital. You spend real money to spend money on this crap. Digital cards that you'll never collect, you'll never be able to sell, you'll never be able to make money off of. And somehow, some way, they have convinced a whole generation of people that this right here is where it's at. While all the time fooling these people and making them believe that there wasn't an era where all this stuff that you see up here wasn't in the game, it wasn't worth earning. It's sad, but it is what it is. All the while, if you're going to call them out, call them out. If you're going to hold them accountable. Because one day they're going to come for you. When they're done squeezing you out and of all your juices and they've made their nice little tropical drink, they're going to move on to the next person that they can sucker. They're going to move on to the next group of people that they can prey on and have them play their stupid little mind games and do their little rat races. But the good thing about it is that all the while they're chasing their own tail and they're kind of spiting their nose. They're kind of, what's that saying? They're cutting their nose to spite their face. They're doing that. They're creating a greed system in which they're going to run off all the people who actually made this game what it is to then keep the people around who is going to constantly create the ecosystem of being a succubus and a barnacle, where one preys on the other, that preys on the other, that preys on the other, that preys on the other. Because they're not going to talk to you about the stuff that's not in this game. They'd rather focus on the things that are in this game. And you want to know what's in this game? Incompetency. Shallow, empty competency. That's it. Till next time, folks. Take it easy.